We begin in the eastern region where market women in and around Koforidua and a group calling itself a coalition of political parties in the eastern region are demonstrating against new jobbing MC Comfort Asante. The aggrieved demonstrators say Madam Comfort has messed up their businesses due to decongestion exercise she carried out at their trading centers. They are calling on the president to call the MCE to order, otherwise they will be thrown out of business. Some of the demonstrators have been speaking to Joy News.
MPP by the and then Amanda Grant, campaign and a Kufuado. So I'm running on my boy, young school. No, says another than Kalanico free education. Nabatan for the Yanya Juma, you better than Kalani support Mama Omako. On the bomb or coin home, meant to pavement. So why and can a man baby now to be a mitiaka? On the bomb, and you hear me near me now at the koi, at the same honey enemy dross. Me atari a semi almost a time me born naked. Almost had me court about 7 women. Nana, about ya 2 years, ya 2 abana say, ya dat in tio. Ya 2 abana say, ya dat, ya bet me a track one home. I show ya ma because me say me 2 on me my 9. Me kunu Jania Jame. Me and me shaman by me Baba Kuko University. Ba konso our SS. Ba konso me no so private school. Me dan ma shankwalano. Ma nyire me ho anya djuma me dan ma shankwalano ba besia ya bebo me okwan wat se me dross ani ma nda me to me nyina gu fom na me de court one dia o mo so mo de me kwa abi bi fom pani fo beje 7 letter na free me nsem enti me chan abrante ne teaching so de me court am ya jele me awo Ghana ha se dia akiya be stepa awo Ghana ha a tre se me wa me ba bi no mo ba no be to share me so ana mo bo me o se maka no me na nyem na me ka no edipo na doso so bi na ka no me ntimi nche me de me no metimi nkano abaya djuma no oye na emom no o metu ko misuna me ho mete metu man kano o matete me ho niam nyina presi form yensa a presi form am yenu obe ma baako city guard for ensia oba besia menku a
Let's go live on the phone now and speak with Joy News' Kofi Siao, who has been following the protesters. Kofi, what more can you tell us about this demonstration?
Well, Daniel, the demonstration itself started early in the morning around 8 a.m. They marched through the principal suite of the regional capital, Koforidua, to the regional coordinating council, where they were expected to give their petition to the regional minister. Unfortunately, when they got there, the police prevented them from entering the forecourt of the regional coordinating council, so they weren't able to meet the regional minister and deliver the petition to him. So they returned to the Jackson Park where the demonstration began. The leader of the demonstrators, Kofi Abwaje, addressed them and told them that once they've been able to embark on this protest, he is very sure that the president will give them a listening ear, so that he will call the municipal chief executive to order, or else the traders will vote against the NPP. He says that Koforidua area is one place that the people vote for NPP, so if they treat them this way, he is actually a sound NPP member. So he says that if they treat them this way, it is going to affect the NPP in Koforidua.
Right, now, I know you mentioned that the leader of the group is a staunch NPP member, but tell us a bit more about this coalition of political parties. Which parties are involved?
These are political party activists who are really concerned about the actions of the municipal chief executive and the municipal assembly. So they decided to join the demonstrators, the market women, to drum home their grievances. So it's a way of supporting the action of these traders. So
these are members of the ruling party as well, supporting these market women.
You have PPP, you have NPP.
Right.
These are members of a political party I saw.
Right. Now, beyond that, when did this decongestion exercise take place? This exercise that sparked the protest?
The decongestion exercise, if I can recall, took place about 2 weeks ago. And the assembly, according to them, embarked on this decongestion exercise to rid the town of fields and also to ensure that people do not sit on walkways and pavement.
Right, and since it happened those 2 weeks ago, what has been the level of engagement between these market women, these political actors, and the municipal authorities?
Well, the market women say they've tried effortlessly to reach the municipal chief executives and his people, but whenever they reach the entrance of the municipal assembly, the security men threaten to beat them up. So they've not been successful in getting the municipal chief executive or any authority at the assembly to respond to some of their grievances.
Right. Thank you very much, Kofi Sian, for that update. We'll be coming to you. There's another development. Let's come back to the Greater Accra region because officials of the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, are working hard to restore power supply to their customers who are having challenges in reloading their prepaid credit cards. Winding queues have characterized a number of their offices in the Accra West region since Monday due to a breakdown in their server system, according to officials. Joy News' Bernice Abobedu visited one of their offices around the Kwame Nkrumah interchange this morning and reports a team is working to resolve the problem.
A lot of chaos here just behind the VIP station, the project office of the Electricity Company of Ghana. I must say that over 1,000 people are gathered here just so they can get some credit on their ECG card. It's been 7 days of trying to solve the problem here. It's been a really tough one trying to get those who came in yesterday to gather around the PA system so the announcer can call out the names and they pick up their cards. Now, the only means of verification is that when the name is mentioned and someone raises their hand to say that's their card, they're supposed to mention their phone numbers, and that's compared with the phone number on the envelope, and then the card is given out. So far, she scored over 50 names, and just about 5 people have picked up their cards. I've just shown you what's happening with regards to those who dropped their cards yesterday. Here's what's happening for those who came in today to drop their cards. They've been given some numbers. If you can see just here, this lady has the number 62. And what's happening now is that these people who were given the numbers at dawn are currently moving to this part of the facility to pick up envelopes so they can drop their cards in and come again tomorrow to pick up their cards, just like those who dropped their cards yesterday are doing today.
If you have given it to me, go home so that others can serve. Public, you know. But okay. Oh, okay. It's very bad.
All right, so Benedicta is an aggrieved customer. She's saying that she feels highly disrespected, and she owns a cold store. She's gone for a loan, and she's lost all her stock.
Respect us.
Okay, okay. So, how much do you think you've lost?
Almost 5,000. Almost 5,000 plus. Me na say, ade. Me na say, baby I'm on catch and say, oh, say na say. And say but no na ka masa to bi ma ka ho. To say one was na den be take here. Na we say but enough credit I go after no na we say bibi but no information biara yaba away be ending biara network do ending biara network but where they changing na it's too bad.
Okay, so she's just saying that, for example, if she had been informed prior to the incident, then she would have bought enough credit to last her the month. But as it stands now, she's lost about 5,000 cedis worth of stock in her cold store. I can see her eyes; she's very teary-eyed.
5 days illegal. I'm saying the illegal also. say illegal connection.
And run a card in the betuma no pay and mobomi, the microbin a frame in a buy, and I'm a beji. Yakotos Siano, Yasande to Sosi and Bantimin San Fambra back beam.
What's your name?
My name is Akos.
Akos, are you here to sell envelopes or you are here because you don't have electricity?
I'm here because I don't have electricity, but I've locked my shop for 2 days now. Almost 3 days. Let me say 3 days because I went to NHIA yesterday and they said I should come to VIP. So far as I have lost my shop for 3 days. I have to sell this envelope at least to do something.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a beautician, hairdresser, a beautician.
Right, so
yes.
You're just taking advantage of the fact that. So how many packs have you sold so far?
I have sold only one. This is the second one. Okay. So I'm still on it.
You're still on it.
Yes.
Interesting development here at the project office of the Electricity Company of Ghana. She's closed her shop for 3 days, so she's taking the opportunity to make some money. The lack of an essential commodity, electricity, has caused thousands of people to gather here at the projects office of the Electricity Company of Ghana. We've been here for a pretty long time, and I must say a really chaotic situation it is. Just behind me, some people who dropped their cards are being served, and they have to go back to their vendors and get their credits. But those who are coming in now are also being served at the far end of the facility, and their cards are being taken so they can be called later to pick up their cards. The main issue for them is that their phones are off, they don't have access to electricity, so they wonder how officials of the ECG would reach them. So what do? They would rather stay here till they get their cards, and that's what creating all this chaos. I must bring in some clarity here that those suffering this situation are those who are using the card, but for those who use the smart meters where they have to go to a vendor and key in their details and the credit is transferred directly onto their meters, they don't have any issue. We've had people tell us that this situation will force them to connect themselves to the grid illegally. This is a situation that ECG officials tell us will not go into next week. Hopefully, our customers will be served and the situation will be solved. From the ECG Projects Office here at Circle in Accra, I'm Benis Abubedu reporting for Joy News.
Expect more on this story in later bulletins. Now, virologist and head of medical biology at the Department of Biomedical and Allied Health Sciences at the University of Ghana, Legon, Professor Kwamina Sego, is advising worried parents of Kumasi Academy students to desist from withdrawing their children from the school in panic. He is saying that it will be best for their children and the general public for the parents to heed the advice of medical authorities. Speaking on a news desk earlier today, Reverend Professor Sego, as he is known, also asked the medical authorities and city authorities to be more forthcoming with information about the mysterious disease.
There have been indications that they will do some contact tracing. They were trying to keep the children at one place because they were not sure what it was. So for me, I think that is key. It's important also for them to share the basic facts about what they know, as a way of people being aware of it, to see if they can do anything to prevent it. For example, I found out that two of the children who are there were sharing one bank there. So if people hear this, it's enough information. If they share information, it's enough. Sharing not with the intention of frightening Ghanaians, because people easily frightened about these things, but packaging it in such a way that would help people to live in such a way and prevent it, especially the contact, those who have left school and have gone to their homes. And the other thing is also, I believe they will do it, is to look at the contact tracing, to see those who have come into contact with those who are there or who are ill, and then be able to monitor them for a while in their homes or where they live, as a way of making sure that no new cases come up wherever they are, that is, if it will. Number two, they should continually do testing. I'm not sure what it is, but if they're giving antibiotics, mass antibiotics, the other chance is that if it's something bacterial that we are killing, we may miss out on what it is. So I'm hoping that they would have taken samples of people or the children who are rushed there when they are ill before they start giving them antibiotics. But once they start mass antibiotics, whatever samples they have, I hope they'll preserve well and then let them continually do tests, because that, for me, is a problem. If we miss out on what it is, then maybe we would live to wait for it to appear again when we haven't found what it is. So I'm hoping that we'll have good banking, specimen banking, so that investigations can continue even if the cases subside and the children get better.
For worried parents and the general public, what advice would you have?
They should listen to the health authority, because panic won't help us at this time. For example, rushing to take your children out of there to bring your child home may not actually be advisable, because they probably have better ways of containing the children in the school. I don't know the school properly, but they may have better ways of handling it. So they should listen to the health authority and believe that they will give them guidance as to what to do. Because the aim is not just to prevent more deaths, the aim is also to prevent others from spreading even outside the school.
Let's stay with the health sector, because a hospital's ability to deliver quality health care is severely impaired when it lacks medical supplies. Sadly, this is a situation in which many health facilities in Ghana find themselves due to the failure of the National Health Insurance Authority to reimburse them for attending to its subscribers. Officials at the Babli Polyclinic in the Upper West Region, Savelugu Nanton Hospital in the Northern Region, and the Evangelical Church of Ghana at a hospital at Pandai say they have all not been paid for 16 months. Jojo Kobna assesses how non-payment of insurance claims is affecting delivery of health care at these facilities.
This is the Babli Polyclinic in the lower district of the Upper West Region. From the outside, everything looks glossy, but a closer look reveals empty shelves in the pharmacy. Health workers here are not happy with the situation because they've been forced to tell the public to get medication elsewhere. At the Evangelical Church of Ghana Hospital at Pandai, the hospital lacks essential medication for emergency surgeries such as cesarean section, so patients are forced to dig deep into their pocket to buy medicine.
What time do you think this woman will start?
It depends on the time that
the doctor will finish.
No, they will bring the drugs from time.
These people drug, but you don't have drug. What kind of drugs?
The infusions,
like Rangers, normal saline, and then you don't have the D5.
Yes.
How? What happened? The insurance is owing us and they are not paying us. For the past 18 or 16 months, the insurance is not paying us. So we are doing our own pakapa to run the place.
Medical Superintendent of the Evangelical Church of Ghana Hospital, Dr. Sonla Joseph, is very unhappy. He has been sued by 2 pharmaceutical companies for failing to pay debts.
And over 98% of the clients who come here have health insurance. And we submitted July 2016, 20th of September 2016 last year. And up to now, no payments have been made from this. We are no longer credit worthy. Suppliers will not give us. And those who have supplied us that for a very long time, because insurance owner will not be able to pay, have sued the hospital in court. And among them, Tobinco Pharmaceuticals has given us a demand notice for us to pay the money, and they gave us 2 weeks. And the amount they were demanding, even if I sell the hospital, I can't even pay. The second company that sued this hospital is JY Pharmacy. JY Pharmacy also sued the hospital and demanded payment of their monies. And that again had to stop working in the hospital and move to the region, Tamale, to negotiate out of court settlement.
Staff to be paid from internally generated funds have not been paid for more than a year, and SNIT has taken a legal action against the hospital.
Just some few weeks ago, SNIT dragged me to court, Yendi, because I've not been able to pay the few staff that are on IGF their SNIT contribution. Again, I had to go to court to explain, and it took the judge to have reasoning with me and pleaded with, in fact, it wasn't a plea, he ordered Senate that if insurance owed the hospital, what do you expect doctor to do? At least have a roundtable discussion and negotiate a way out. And that is what is giving me some briefing space. And so I am supposed to run a hospital, provide health insurance service to the people, but the government agreement in terms of the national health insurance thing is not coming, and it makes me get frustrated.
If the National Health Insurance Authority fails to redeem payment of hospital claims, many facilities will continue to suffer. Jojo Kobna, Joy News.
Now, Deputy Marketing Manager at the National Health Insurance Authority, Oswald Esiamensa, joined us on News Desk to discuss this, and he was saying that the major issue facing the authority at the moment is a proper funding lines. He was saying that after so many years of implementation of the National Health Insurance Scheme, it is about time that authorities began to look at a proper funding lines for the scheme in order to forestall some of these problems.
For me, the bigger conversation should be, why do we owe providers? What is clear to all of us is that the funding of the scheme is inadequate, right? So the conversation should rather move towards what are we doing as an institution, as a country, to make sure that we're able to finance the healthcare cost of our population. As we speak now, we have almost about 41% of active members of the population on the scheme. Every country is striving to achieve universal health coverage, which means that ideally all our 27 or 28 million people in Ghana should be on the scheme. Now, if at 40% we are struggling in terms of financing, what then would happen if we want to increase membership, to cover the whole country?
A technical committee was set up by the John Mahama administration to look at the scheme some 10 years after its implementation in 2015, I believe. Some recommendations were made because as at that time it was well known that the funding lines for the scheme were inadequate. Those recommendations that were made included, removing some illnesses off treatment of the scheme and all that. What became of those recommendations?
Yes, you're right. There was a technical review that was set up in 2015 by the previous administration. What I'm aware was that the recommendations were submitted to the then Minister of Health to be sent off to government. And of course, that was around September of last year. And we all know what happened in December. And there's a new administration. This year, they've had a relook at all of those reviews, and as I speak to you, there's been a lot of consultations that is going on to look at the scheme as it is. Proposals have been made, and there's a lot of consideration that is actually going on as we speak in terms of funding the scheme, because this lies at the base, and it's a critical...
But forgive me, Oswald, but it looks to me like you've had a solution submitted to this, to the ministry that the authority has been aware of since September last year. This year alone, we are in December. Yeah, and we still have these challenges.
What you should realize is that it's the government that takes decisions. So yes, recommendations were done by a previous government, and so this is a new era. And so what I'm saying is that those recommendations have been picked up, they have been looked at. We've had to fine-tune a few more things to it, and I'm sure very soon we're going to hear what the new proposals will be for the NHIA. But what is critical is that the funding of the scheme is inadequate, and it must be looked at.
It's not watching Joy News today. My name is Daniel Daze. Stories gone by so far. Market women and a coalition of political parties at the Eastern Region capital, Koforidua, have demonstrated against the MCE for new drubbing. We've also been telling you about the latest as regards the mysterious disease outbreak at Kumasi Academy, as Reverend Professor Kwame Nasego, a virologist in the University of Ghana, has advised parents against panic withdrawal of their wards. Now, this just coming in from Kumasi. 8 more students of Kumasi Academy have been discharged from the KNUST hospital. This morning, it was reported on News Desk that there were 16 patients there from the school. Now, we know there are 8, bringing the total number of hospitalized students at KNUST Hospital and Komfanoche Teaching Hospital to 11, with the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital having 3 students. Now, stay tuned to Joy News. Thanks for staying with us. Now, this was a fiercely contested election, a straight contest between an incumbent seeking a second term and a presidential candidate who had failed twice in his presidential ambition and facing what many considered to be his last chance. The 2016 election was indeed memorable. Today marks exactly 1 year since many Ghanaians made their way to polling stations across the country to elect a new president. A year on, we bring you a special report that brings back some timeless sounds that make or break election, that kicked out the NDC and brought in the NPP. Joining us is Joseph Akable has more.
Let's join Erastus by Skype.
People have been queuing here since 4 a.m. And this is the Methodist primary.
I'm currently at the Roman Catholic primary school, where voting started some 20 minutes ago.
Joy News reporters across the country could be heard in the early hours of December 7, 2016, indicating that the polls had started in different parts of the country.
The process is very bad. It's not moving at all. It's not moving. And people are just patrolling inside and here and there.
The policemen are not doing their work well. So they are standing there. I don't know why they are standing there. They have to look at it and know whether the line is going or not, because anybody can come and enter.
It was the decision day, a day for millions of citizens to decide who leads them for the next 4 years. A lot had happened in the political space prior to the election day. The famous disqualification of 13 presidential nominees.
The 6th candidate, Dr. Papa Kwesindu, of the Progressive People's Party. The Commission is unable to accept Dr. Ndum's nomination because, again, the number of subscribers to his forms did not meet the requirements of Regulation 7.2 of CI 94.
4 of the candidates headed to court, with the PPP being the first to secure a landmark High Court decision ordering that Dr. Ndum be allowed to correct the mistakes on his nomination form.
It is important for those people to believe and understand that they are human beings. They are not there for their own purpose. They are there to carry out the dictates of the laws that set them up.
Others also rushed to the courts, but lawyers for the EC took the matter to the Supreme Court, challenging the decision in favor of Dr. Ndum. The Apex Court directed that all other candidates be given an opportunity to rectify mistakes on their form. EC Chair Charlotte Osei announced the qualified candidates shortly afterwards. The stage was set for the fierce contest. It was not in doubt that the NPP and NDC would be the dominant forces. This was known from the onset of the race. Candidates, party leaders had a go at each other.
The youth of this country, we are saying to the NDC that we see you all right. You want us to see you? We see you, but we see incompetence. We see you, but we see corruption. We see you, but we see mismanagement. We see you, but we see bad governance. We see you, but we want change. We see you, but we want Ghana to move forward.
Up till today, no Ghanaian knows the cost of the redenomination exercise. Then the same person and people come and stand and say somebody is incompetent. You are incompetent. Moses Asikando, how much did it cost us? Simple thing like this, you can't tell us. And you have the nerve to come and talk about corruption. Look in the mirror and look at yourself.
Let me give Mr. President a free piece of advice. Mr. President, please desist from embarrassing yourself by stating that Moody's has upgraded Ghana. Your economic management team should explain that difference to you.
It is the same with the economy. if you create the impression that the economy is in crisis, Ghana is going back, despite all the scientific basis, even from outside, Moody's comes and upgrades us and say there's more confidence in Ghana's economy. We've gone from negative to stable. And then somebody who calls himself an economist can stand and say there was no Moody's upgrade. I can't think far, I can't think far.
And he's saying with these statistics that we should give him another chance, another 4 years. Are we going to give him another 4 years? We are not going to give him another 4 years. He is a threat to the future of our country. We're going to put him aside and bring in Akufo-Addo and the MPP to lift our country up and get Ghana working again, get Ghana going again.
I can't think far for no. Oh yeah. We can think far. We can think far. We can think far.
Fishermen are suffering and industries are suffering. Artisans are suffering and NHIA are suffering. The disabled are suffering and men are suffering. Women are suffering and children and Ghanaians as a whole are suffering.
48 hours to the polls, all parties wrapped up their campaigns. It was time for the EC chair to declare results. The parties were impatient.
And we think it's about time that we call on our opponents to concede and congratulate.
We want to assure our supporters and Ghanaians that President Mahama is in a comfortable lead as far as the presidential vote is concerned. We have always known that the MPP will misbehave, but let their misconduct and their misbehavior not deter you and scare you. The victory of the NDC is coming again, and the people say, hey, God.
We therefore project it is almost statistically impossible for President John Dramani Mahama to achieve 50% plus one. Our projection is that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will win the 2016 presidential election.
It is precisely on account of my belief in Ghana and its future that, notwithstanding the irregularities associated with this election, I have decided at this stage to congratulate the president-elect.
On the basis of the foregoing figures, and by the power vested in me as the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and the returning officer for the presidential election, it is my duty and my privilege to declare Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as the president-elect of the Republic of Ghana. Thank you. God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation.
Whether you supported me or not, whether you campaigned for me or not, whether you voted for me or not, I can promise you one thing. I will do my best to serve your interests and put our country back on the path of progress and prosperity.
Definitely an interesting period in the year that was just a year ago. Now, before we go, President Akufo-Addo has urged his political appointees to be humble and respect authority. This, he believes, is a sure way to realize the better Ghana promised Ghanaians by his administration. The president was speaking at a national Thanksgiving service held Thursday morning to thank God for a violence-free, successful and victorious election in 2016.
It's appropriate that we renew our prayers for our nation, that the Almighty continues to preserve the peace, the unity, and the freedom of Ghana. that those whom he has called to serve in government, that he continues to endow them with the spirit of humility and a spirit of service so that they can address the needs of the people of Ghana for progress and prosperity. And me, who is selected to lead the team, I continue to seek his prayer, that he gives me wisdom, that he gives me strength, that he gives me compassion and humility so that I can be a good leader for his Ghanaian flock.
Well, our president definitely does not need to pray for good dance moves from what we just saw there. And this is where we end today's bulletin of Joy News Today. I am Daniel Daze. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. Thanks for watching.